Oh hey, Jeremy here from Long Speed Marine. Well, I'm out in the shop. I've got the cab bolted on finally, and we're ready to put together this front clip here. So that's what I'm going to be working on today, getting that going. So that's what we're doing, and I'm going to get you in here so you can see, set up some lights, and we're going to get this front clip mounted finally, and then we can start putting together and bolting up all the motor stuff and then get this thing running. And that's going to be pretty exciting to finally fire this thing up. Probably not going to happen in this video, but in the next couple of videos here we're going to be doing, they're going to be coming out hot and heavy, and we're going to get going on the C50 once again. So welcome back, and let's get working. Okay, if you haven't seen this before, so this is what I've got for my front mount setup. Basically, we're going off of the original frame, which, I just realized I have to finish welding that, because I guess I just tacked it back on. I had originally lopped this front of the frame off because it didn't fit with the original front support piece. So I had cut the frame off shorter, but obviously I'm not going to use that. I figured it was just easier just to make my own mount for the front. So that's what I've done. I just tacked those back on. So that's the stock mounts, put back in the stock location for this frame. And then I'm just using those rubber mounts there. So this will all get welded up. I've got another piece here that what I'll do is I'll trim this and weld that together so that it fits. Just because I don't have a big enough break to fit that whole piece, so I had to do it in a couple pieces. Anyways, it'll work out all right. So my idea now is I just get these in place where I like them, and mark them, which is where basically how it's going to be now. I'm going to throw a couple more bolts up front, and then we're going to get this where I want it straight this way, because it's a little wiggly, and we'll just tack those pieces on. Yeah, something like that. It should work just fine. All right, so now that we've got that bolted down, this doesn't wiggle as much. So this is now solid. I'm happy with where it's positioned. So now we can line up our mounts here and figure out where we're going to be, which is basically like that and like that. Got to get these this out of the way. This back there. String right out. Oh, that one's gonna fit like that. A little bit. Okay. So basically, got them lined up with my mark there. So now what I'm going to do is just mark this part, because I'd like to fold this over. And I'm not going to reach. There are some bolt holes here that I was hoping I would be able to fold it over and reach, but I'm not going to reach that. that. Like that. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'll just slice this and then I'll bend this piece over. That'll add some more strength to all of this. And give me another spot to weld onto here. Once I get that on. Yeah. I like it. Okay. Let's cut this. I don't like how that's ending up in my vise. So maybe what I'll do is I'll bend that over after with the hammer. I don't know. Maybe sorta? Sorta, kinda? Maybe I can just... No, I want to break it. Oh, but if I did that, I was going the wrong way anyways. Yeah, I can't do this in the brake because it's the wrong way for my brake. Okay. I can do it in the vise. Alright, I'm going to do this in the vise. See how this works. Okay. Hammer. That's pretty good. Turned out okay. Perfect. I like that. Yeah, I like that. Okay. So now I just got to repeat on the other side. And then, like I said, this will sit down on here. Like that. And that's going to be great. Okay, I'm just going to repeat on the other side, and I'll be right back. Right. Other side. Perfect. Like it. I like it a lot. Alright, now I just got to mark out where I need to grind. Got bare metal. Here. Oops. Okay. There. Okay. So do that. And I am going to pop a couple holes in this, so I'll do some plug welds in there as well, just to weld that up nicely. Or maybe I'll just do a slit. If I just cut a slot in there, that'll work well also. Maybe I'll do that. Okay. I'm going to clean this up now. All right, we're back. And the shop is a bit lighter on vehicles. Skylark's no longer sitting over there because I sold it. And if you guys have followed along, sort of know I unfortunately had to leave my job. So I had to sell the Skylark. Really bummed because at the end of the day, that paint turned out awesome. For me, not being a painter and everything else, that paint turned out really good. Just needed to be buffed, wet sanded, whatnot. But it would have looked, it still looked awesome. I love the color, the flake in it. Anyways, so whatever, you got to do what you got to do, man up and sell the car. So now we're working on the C50 again and getting back on getting this front clip bolted down. So I've got the ears on the frame welded up, my tabs underneath welded up. Well, I don't have them welded yet, but I've got them made, done. And so now I'm just making up my sort of the cradle support here for the rad. So let me flip this around so it's easier for you to see. All right, so this is going to be what the rad is basically sitting on. It's going to add support across that whole front. Unfortunately, my brake is not long enough to do the whole thing. It's 42 inches and the brake's like, I don't know, 30 or something. Anyways, so I had to do it in half, which is fine. So now I'm going to TIG it together. I haven't TIGged for a long time, so figured I might as well try using the TIG. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to TIG these two pieces together, finish that off, make it look like one, and then we'll go fit this in the clip and get it tacked in. And what I may do on this also is I'll probably do a couple holes in this to tack it to so that it's got support here, drilled, welded there, and then I'll weld it along the sides as best I can. And that'll be that. That'll hold that rad and everything together. So let me get to TIG welding this up. And we'll see how good I do or how bad I do. All right, I'm going to try my glass cup here. I feel like a light just turned off. So I'm going to try the glass cup and see how that works. Is that treading in? I guess so. Sure. And I'm using 1/16 tungsten. So very, very small tungsten because this is just sheet metal. We shouldn't need anything too thick. Where that's 3/30 seconds, where this 3/30 seconds will is pretty good actually, all the way up. Even to, you can pretty well do 1/4 inch with this. But I've, you know, like I said, this is just sheet metal. Oh, what's different here? Do I need a short one of these things? I don't remember, it's been so long. What's happening? I guess I need a short one of these. Alright, well I guess I'm not going to use this because I can't find the piece that fits that. Alright, guess I'm going to use my longer one. Well, that's a bummer. Alright, well, we'll go back to this one. Now I'm using the foot pedal with this. Where's my foot pedal? Oh, and I guess I need my helmet. Goodness. Okay. Now maybe we're ready to do this. Okay, make sure my pieces are lined up. No. Oh, the pedal is stuck. Bugger. Why won't that burn together? Huh. Well, that sucks. I can't. Alright, I'm going to have to get a piece of... I was hoping to just tack that without filler. I guess that's not going to work. Well, I tacked it to the table. Great. Alright, and because we're just doing fine sheet metal, I'm also just going to use the tiny little rod. I've heard guys use spool off some MIG wire to do this. But I've never had much luck with that because the MIG wire comes off and it's all coiled up and it just screws up on me, so I don't like doing it. So I'm not gonna. And I got a ton of this stuff. Wonder if I should clamp that so it's hanging up a bit, or if I can just hold it. Well, maybe I can hold it. Ah. Man, am I out of practice on this? I've got stuff all on the... What is happening? Something's going on here. Alright, now I gotta go grind my tungsten. Alright. Let's try this again. I swear I did know how to do this at one point. I actually am better at Tig welding than I am MIG welding. Let's try over here. I cannot get those two halves to come together. Man, it's weird. Weird. There we go. There. That's more gooder. Alright. Now let's see if we can get her. I'm really gonna have to work at filling this gap in. I might need thicker rod. Well, let's see. Bugger. Can I recover from that? Probably not. Yeah. Yeah. Shoot. I probably welded it to the table. Come on. Dang it. Get off the table. There we go. All right. We'll grind this again. I don't want to just weld this to the table. I'm trying to fill this hole. I dirtied my tungsten again. Oh man, there's a huge hole in that. All right, that's enough of this. We're just gonna take a MIG weld this. Screw it. Hey, friends, I'll have to help. Oh, go in there. Yeah, that's right. Here, well, maybe we can fix this. If you can't, I'll do it. Probably very good. Okay. Alright. Now we'll just have to grind that out and it'll look marvelous. All right, so I got to switch this up to loosen that up. So this is an Eastwood bead roller. I don't know why it's got these collars, but anyways, it's got these collars. Oh no, I want this. No, I don't want this. Which one do I want? I want this one from the top. Oops. And then on the bottom, I'm going to try and get this off. This is a pain to get off. I don't know how I'm going to get that off. I want to change this bottom roller for the inset die. And then the idea is I'm going to put a bead roll in the bottom of that panel to strengthen it up. But I got to try and get this soft roller off of here. I have this on, doing some other stuff. There we go. Okay. And so now I want this one on here. And this is going to allow me to put a nice bead into that panel. So being that this is the top side, I don't want that bead to stick up because then it's going to be a bit of a struggle maybe for the rad to sit in here. So what I'm going to do is go down so that the dimple will be down, and this is where it sits on those other tabs that I have in there. And that should strengthen it up decent. I mean, I'm not happy with that weld, whatever, but we'll see how this goes in terms of bead rolling this. For whether I actually even keep this piece or not. But we'll give it a shot. So you want to count. So that's where it gets snug. And then usually you want to count how many turns you have. There's one. I'm going to go 2 turns for the first pass. 2. Wrong way. Other way. And the key to a bead roller is just go slow. Slow and steady. There's no reason to rush. Because if you do, you won't get the line straight. Won't look the way you want. Of course, I stopped looking for a second and I went off a bit. I think it'll be alright. And the nice thing about this bead roller is I can reverse the direction to go back the other way. It's a pretty good bead, but I'm going to put a little bit more in this. So I'm going to go half a turn. Now we're going to go back. Okay, let's take this off of here now. It's a pretty decent bead. Worked out all right. And that has added a ton of strength to that panel. Where before I could flex this all over the place. Now, I mean, I'm not pushing this. I mean, obviously I could still bend this out, but oh, look what I did. Oh, look what I did. See? All right, what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to put a piece in the middle. That's what I was afraid of. Even with that bead. Dang it. Either that or I make a whole new one. Well, let me think on this, and I'll get back to you and let you know what I decided here. Because that's a bummer. And I don't like all this weld anyways. It turned out gross. Alright, back to the drawing board. Here's what I made on the bottom piece. Screwed up on welding. Put a bead roll in it, made it a bit stronger. But I'll be honest, here's what I think about it. Junk. Starting over. Alright, another day, another dollar. So back out in the shop. I had to go do some stuff yesterday, so next new day, different shirt. So I redid my bottom pieces. I didn't like what I did before. I did them out of originally 16 gauge, but my brake didn't bend it very well, so I didn't like it. It was uneven. So then I went to 18 gauge, which you saw me welding and doing all that, and I didn't like it. I put a bead roll down it, still didn't strengthen it up enough. You saw it bend in the middle, so where I welded it, whatnot. So I've gone back to 16 gauge now. So I'm gonna break the edges where I've marked it. I cut it in 2 equal pieces. So I'll hopefully be able to weld this a little bit better. I'm going to use the MIG welder. I'm not going to mess around with the Tig welder. Obviously it's been a while that I've used it and I'm pretty rusty on it, so I'll save that for other stuff. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to get over to the brake here, and we're going to bend these things up. All right, so I did adjust this forward. I found that it's even this has slipped back a bit, maybe. It's just the unfortunate part with these. Oh, it's a 36 inch. Anyways, I need 42 over there, so I'm hoping that it will bend this up. It's the unfortunate part with these. They just don't. They're just not meant for this. Even though it says 16 gauge. At 18 inches. Well, this is 21, so it's not much more than that. But anyways, they're just cheap. I'd love to be able to get a bigger brake or whatever. A bigger, stronger brake. A finger brake would be nice. So I'm just going to line this up with my marks. Down that side. I'm going to put this piece down. Alright, let's clamp down this side. Oh, I should put my gloves on. Let me go get my gloves. Put those on. And I'd also, another thing that I should do is put a bar across the bottom so I can stand on it better. Because right now I can only stand on one side or the other. So this clamp down. Let's see what we do here. Well, that's kind of not too bad, actually. I can tell just by how it's coming up. The other thing would be nice to have is the gauge on the side where it tells you where you're at in the angle. So let's see how this looks in the middle. How crisp it is. Oh, that turned out really good, actually. So if you look down this, it's a little bit sharper on the ends and then it softens up in the middle, and that's actually it's sharper on this side, which is probably because this is further back. It pushed back even more again. Baga. Okay. Well, that's a bugger. Well, they both push back the same now. Okay. Well, whatever. I mean, it is what it is. This is just what you get with a cheap brake. I don't know why it made that adjustable, really. Try this again. Here. Here. Okay. Alright. Let's see, how much the phone? No, it's not bad. It's still, you can, I don't know if you can tell on the video, but it's sharper at the ends and then it softens out in the middle, and that was sort of the issue I had on my other one, but it was even worse. Anyways, that should be okay. Let's do this one. I mean, let's be honest, no one's really gonna get down and ever actually see it. But I don't want it to look like junk. At least I don't. I'm trying not to. Ow! Wrist popped. More. Okay. That's not bad. Huh. Went a little bit far, actually. So, when you go a bit far, you can always put it back in. Wipe it down. And we can pull this back a bit. There, that's better. Perfect. Okay. One side. I'm going to clamp. This side. Clamp. Why does it seem I'm... Why does it look like I'm off a lot? I'll go in a bit. Maybe I should get my measuring tape. I mean, my cut along the edge may not be perfect. That's 4 inches. Okay. My eyeball was correct. I was not straight, but I am now. Let's do this again. And they're up. Alright. That looks alright. Still in the middle. I don't know. Maybe I need to tighten these things up. I don't know. Probably not. It's just probably too much metal. So as long as I can get these to line up nice. Oh, that lines up real good. Okay, let's get this welded up. All right, so that's as far as I'm gonna go grinding it. That's probably one of the things that screwed me up the last time, was grinding that too much, especially the edges. But I'm gonna leave that as is. I mean, that'll be fine once it's painted. So what I'm gonna do now is mark out where I need to stop with my bead roll. Although I could bead roll it up. Because the brad's going to sit on the pads. I could trim the pads to sit over top of the bead roll. That would strengthen this whole panel. Nah, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to bead roll the whole thing. So I'm going to put one bead roll down the center the whole way, up this way. I'll just trim those, these things. I've got new ones of these. But basically I'll trim those to sit in there, to hold the rad up. Not the whole thing, just the rubber. Yeah. That'll work. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. So let's mark this out for my line. Put that there. So now I'll follow. Oh, I need to mark it on the other side. I need to mark it on this side. Okay. So, yes, I know that's offset a bit, so I'll just follow it on this side to center that up. And that's what we're going to do. So let's go to the bead roller. All right. So you see why I want it on this side, because the bead's going to go down, because that's going to push down on it. So get this lined up. Okay, so we're there. One, two. Right now, 2 turns. Am I going the right way? Nope. So just follow my line as straight as I can. And if I can give any advice on the bead roller, like I said last time, if I still have that clip in here, let's go slow. There's no race to be won here. We're just going to go as slow as we can. And of course, standing in this position hurts my back. But we're going to go as slow as we can. We're not under any time crunch or race here. I want this to turn out as nice as possible. So we'll do 1 pass here now. I'll tighten it another turn, go backwards, and that should be good. A little bit off course there, but we're still pretty straight. A little bit off course. Close to that other end, just slow down a bit. Okay, stop there. So we're gonna go 1 more turn on this. 1. Now, should somewhat follow its original path. So we'll go back. But of course we still want to look, follow our line, because we can still go off. I get stuck on my shirt. And of course I could have flipped over to the other side, moved my pedal and all that, but this is working out all right. It's giving it a nice bead now. Off a bit. And stop. All right. There we go. So we got a nice bead down that piece. Lots of strength in that. I'm happy with that. A lot happier than the other piece. That's really good. So let's put this in here. Beauties. All right, look at that. So that's going to work out nice in there. So what I'll do is I'll pop, I don't know, maybe 3 holes in either side, so 6 holes, so that we can spot weld down in here on both sides. Because obviously I can't really weld up in there too well. Maybe I can come up from the bottom, but I can weld across the front. I can weld across the back. And that should be good and strong. That's good and strong now. I'm happy with that. Not that there's any force in the middle. All the force is on the ends. But I'm happy with that now. That makes me a lot happier, that piece. So that'll finish that off nicely. Yeah, and it'll be nice with the ends open. You know, we don't really want to collect water in this. So this way the water and junk can run off from either end. You know, I don't want to bend that all in and fill it up. You know, otherwise I'd have to be drilling holes in it to drain. So this way, any moisture, any liquid or whatever should drain off there, especially when you wash the truck. It'll wash out either side. And that'll be great. So I'm going to pop some holes in this, line it up a little bit better, and get to welding it in. Okay, we're done. So there's that rad cradle in. Oh, I just all welded in, both sides. Rosette welded across the bottom. So that's nice and strong. Got my holes drilled. So I'm ready to paint this up now. But I'm just going to test fit the rad. So let me grab my little bumper dewies and set the rad in there. Okay, well, these are actually meant for the top. I guess I ordered the wrong ones. These are typically ones that go up the top. I can use them down below. Let me show you. I mean, they fit in there nicely with the little lip and everything. They fit in nice. That little locate thing would, you know, drill a hole that would hold it nicely. But the problem is this is not high enough to get it past that bolt. So there's other ones that are thick. Let's set the rad in here anyways and see what it looks like. Set this in. Well, you know what? No, that side's on the bolt. Yeah, we're just on those bolts. All right, which is fine. I'm just going to have to figure that out. And then, so my idea was to use these, just shorten them up, whatever, which I can probably do. I can probably just modify these and cut these down, and then drop that part on. And then that'll work up there. Imagine if I don't have any of the C10 style, factory C10 style, but if I did, that would probably also work. Anyways, I can just modify these. I can just drop this down, cut them and fit them on there. So that's going to work to hold that on that. And I think we're good. I think we're going to be good with that, other than those bottom mounts. So I got to order up those bottom mounts. Everything else looks like it's going to fit. So I've just got to paint this thing up, order some mounts, and I'm happy with that. All right. I've got the taller rad cradle mounts. So this is, there's a couple different styles of these. So this is the one style, this is the one I had before, and I showed you already. This is typically used on the top of like a GM car, these ones, and I guess in the bottom too, but usually the bottom ones look like this. But this one here, so just so you know, the Dorman part number is 926-276 for these. They're from a, like, let's say 2008 Chevy 2500 van. That's what I ordered these. That's what that part number is from. that I found. So they're taller than these ones. So they should raise me up over these bolts, right? Because the bolt sits down in there. I'll get you in here and show you. So that's going to sit taller than the bolt. So then the rad's not going to hit that bolt. Okay. So there's the bolt, and that's going to sit in like that, right? And that's also why I made this cradle like that size, because then they fit in nice. So what I'm going to do, I don't know if I'll use this on the bottom. I'll just probably just cut this off. Oh, I can't see. I'll just cut this piece off. And what I'm going to do is figure out where these are going to line up with the rad. I'll get the rad in here in a second. And I'm just going to put a small piece of sheet metal on either side to hold it in, which will basically mimic the way the original ones were. Now I did see, now where did I put that? Oh, it's in the vise. Right, because I was going to drill these out, but I couldn't find the other one. So I did see that you can buy these and this top piece for a regular truck. Now a regular truck, it comes out and drops down. Because that's not going to work for me anyways. And then you can buy these pieces like this that you rivet in. So basically I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to mimic this with a couple pieces of steel on either side, sheet metal on either side. I'll just weld it in. And that will locate where the bottom ones go down there. So that's what I'm going to do now. I got to get the rad in and see how that's going to fit. Let's get this over here. I have no idea if that's even remotely right. We'll get the rad here. On the side. Now what do you think's centered? Oh no, that light's wiggling. Stop that. Stay. That looks just about centered. So this side, that was pretty close. Oh, I should take it out of this bubble wrap. And then this side, oh, I'm too far that way. Okay, I'm gonna come in. I want it centered-ish in the opening and everything else. I'm gonna have to take this bubble wrap off. Well, maybe I can just peel it up on the bottom. That's good. Put it on top of that and poke a hole in it. That'd be good. Okay. Oh. Oops. Centered? No, I'm just going this way, right? Right about there. Okay. Oh. Put this under this tank. Over here. Like that. That. Oh, there we go. And this one. Oh, we're close. Over there. Yep. Oops. Okay. So that's in there like that. We got room to clear the bolt. Perfect. And I just lean this like that. Let's just see if I can tape this up. Hopefully this will stay. There! Mounted! Done! Okay. So there we are, mounted in there. That's centered. No, it's not. What happened? Why is it so far that way now? It has to go that way. What happened? Oh. Well, this is interesting. Because I'm almost... No, I'm not. Okay. Well, now I gotta move this whole thing over. Now, hang on. Let's undo my snazzy mounts here. There we go. Pulling this lovely paint job off. Okay, where do you need to come? Oh, this way. Well, that much. Okay. You know what? This is missing a... This is what's throwing me off now. Is it's missing a thing. Okay, so now I gotta line this up between these bolts. How am I gonna do that? How am I gonna do that? It's nothing symmetrical. So we're just past that one. Just inside, maybe a little bit more that way. There. Okay. Sure. Now it's back where I had it. All right. Well, then just stay where I had it then. So let me show you what's happening. Oh, then reinstall my mouse here. Mounted. Temporary, permanent. Okay. So inside my grill, I've got this bar, but I don't have one on this side. So that's why there's a bigger gap over here than over here. So I know it's going to look funny, but it is what it is. I can't... Right, I got to center it for centered, which is... I'm pretty close. Ish. So I'm going to call that good. Because it's never going to look symmetrical because this tank is smaller than this tank. So the rad core size is one size, but if you start farting around for... It's just going to... Anyways, that's... It is what it is. I could always make that sheet metal piece in here if I wanted to. But for what we're doing here, this is all we need to do. So now what I need to do is figure out... I need to move that over, because that's my hole I'm going to use. So now I got to figure out what I'm going to do to modify the upper pieces. Which... here... and here... Okay, so obviously these are way too tall, so I'm going to have to cut these down. And the only thing that's going to be funky here is they're off a bit from that piece. So I could try messing around with them. But I don't know that I will. I put them there. That would almost... Oh, but that doesn't even mind. Oh, I gotta be there. Okay, so what I'm probably gonna do to start with is get a marker. Mark where this top of this rad is in relation with that. So I need to find a marker. Marker. Okay, found one. Oh, this bolt's on here, like so. And there's the top of this down here. Right? Right. I can measure too. Here to here. Oh, what are we at? Just about, I don't know, 3 1/8. Yeah, 3 1/4. 3 1/8. So I need to take off, let's say to the bottom of that bushing though. Yeah, so about 3 1/4. 3 1/8. That's how far I need to lower all this. And that's the top of the rod there. So I almost need to take this whole piece, just wiped off my mark. So I almost need to cut this bottom piece flush down here, because what's that measurement from there to there? Oh no, 2 inches. 2 inches. Right. What's the depth of that? 1.5 inches. Well, that will work because it's got this extra support in here. So if I can cut this in a way that that slides down in and stays as extra support, I'll have to lose this little bumper, which is fine, that pulls out. And I can probably even put that back if I do this right. Yeah, so 2 inch, that's 1.5 inches. So if I cut that off there, slide this down, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, let me get to cutting this all up here. I guess I bought the bigger cutoff wheels. Oh, well, that'll be fun. Add some excitement to my life. Just have to be extra careful. It should just be a 4 inch to 4.5. But we got a 5 inch. Guess that's what I bought last time. I've never tried these ones. These are the Walter discs. We'll see what they're like. It's a bit far away. Use the other plug. Oh, that's good. Throw it in a bucket of stuff. Well, that was silly. I should have cut this part first. Oh. Shoot. Now I gotta cut that part. Do it hand in hand. What I was hoping what I could do is take that piece from the other. I mean, it's tack welded right there. I think. Well, oh, that's a different buoy than that. All right, so I'm gonna have to do some modification to that because that taper is different, I guess, isn't it? That goes there, and if I take that and goes there, right? Well, that's fine. Just have to do some modifications. Maybe I can just slice that after. Can I get this rubber piece out? Oh, so I'm breaking it. Come on out of there. Come on. Get out. Get out, stay out. Well, for now. And then go back in later. Holy moly. Oh, there we go. Well, it was like vulcanized in there. Okay. I gotta take this piece. Why did I take that out? No, I need that in there still. I don't know. I gotta take this one out. Out you come. Let's go back over to the truck. See what this is gonna do. But now I need that in there. Why did I take that out of there? I don't know. Anyway, so I have to just... Okay, well, do this again. So this goes on here. That's way too tall, so this needs to slide down. Basically there. No, that's gonna hit that. So this really needs to be, down almost flush. Yeah. On my marker. Basically flush with the top of that. That needs to be down there. Okay. That needs to be just basically flush with the bottom. So whatever we got to do to achieve that. And then it's got to be backer. That's where that is, right? Pop tuning holes down here like this. Yeah. So if we slice that off, just like that, we'll get that off. Figure that out, put some 2 new holes, put riv nuts in there. That'll work. And then it'll look more factory. Okay. It's what we will do. Okay. Now let's just for a second, pull this rubber back out. Alright, well, let's cut this one. Should probably put it in the vise. cut my finger off. It doesn't really fit in the vise. Because if I put it like that, then I won't be able to cut all the way through. What if I clamp it to the... No, I guess it... No, because then how am I going to do that? I can clamp it to the table. Ah, I can clamp it to the table like that. Need a pair of clampies. Let's use this one. Holy moly. Well, that wasn't very straight. Great. I didn't get that very straight. Oops. We're going to pretend like that didn't happen. Okay, now what I want to do, cut this off. I'll mark it. Straight line. So now my idea is I'm going to come in here. I don't know if you guys can see. Hopefully you can. I'm going to come in here and slice this. Like this. Because there's the two pieces, I should be able to cut this. And then what I can do is bend this tab underneath here and weld it. And I'll still have this inside piece touching there. That's the idea anyways. If it works, I don't know. We're going to find out. Now, how am I gonna ensure that I don't... Oh, maybe I'll do it after. Right? I'll put that like that. I want it to be a fairly sharp bend. I'll just score it a bit. Oh, that worked. Okay. So let's get this up without breaking it off. That. Right. Goes in there like that. Like that. Nice tight fit. Good. Okay, let's go back to the truck and make sure this is all going to fit and work before we start cutting any more and welding and all that stuff, because I think I got to trim some of this bottom off. All right, back to the truck one more time. Everything like that. Like that. Yeah, so I just need to trim some of that bottom piece off. There, right? Well, maybe not. That should hold that fairly gooder. Oh yeah, I don't have the rubber piece in. I gotta get the rubber. Rubber piece. Oops, let's go that way. Oh, on there like that. On there like that. That's gonna hold that. Welded all that. That's gonna work perfect. Okay. Well, weld her up. Oh, shit, shit, go, shit, oh, shit, shit, go, That's hot. Shoot. Now that's hotter than blue blazes, if you know what I mean. Alright, I just got to do all that all over again on that one. With the spider stuff in it. Alright, well I'm going to do this one. And I'll see you when I'm done. Got them all cleaned up. And we'll be back over at the truck. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so we're painted up, ready to go. Like I said, I'm gonna use riv nuts for this, so I'm just drilling this out for my riv nuts. I'm gonna use 5/16 because that's what was already in my gun. And I don't know, I just think that that's what I should use. It's a little tight still. I'm dropping them all. Dropping everything now. Okay. Next, I get angry at it. Okay. Will fit? Yep. Gotta get the other one. Drop. Oh, it's over there. Oh, got it. Okay, let's put babies down. One more. Yeah. There we go. Oh. All right, I'm glad we're almost getting done here because my hands are starting to cramp up. I don't even know if I'm going to tighten them down because now the next piece, all I need to do is decide what I'm doing down here. Maybe I will just drill a hole and use those little nubs and not bother welding to that. That should all stand up fine. So maybe I'll do that now. I'll just, tight. I'll drill a hole and I will use those nubs because I think this will hold that just fine the way that I've got it. So let's just put that there. Move my full custom straps. Yes. Yes. Like where they are. Get that out. Okay. Time to drop it and smash this thing. More than it already has been. Okay. Oh, fucker. Just mark this right here. Right there. Like that. This one. Right here. Like that. Let's pop a little hole. It's a 1/4 inch. Five 16ths. Where did I put the drill? Right there. On the floor. What's that say? What's that say? Is that too big? Yeah, let's go small. Yeah, that's what I want. 1/4 inch. course, this is round, so it's going to walk all over on me. Oh, I got it. Pop that in there. Yep. Perfect. Look at that. Like it's meant to be. Look in there. This one doesn't really want to go in. The other one did. There. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. I think we can finally take this bubble wrap off. Oh, there's the setup I'm going to be using. And in. Perfect. Oh my God, it's almost like I meant it to be like that. Boy, that one is a bit sticky. Oh, I don't just use my impact then. Rad cap might be difficult to get off. We might have to do something about that. Can I get it off? No, I can get it off. Okay. There we go. That's not going. That's going nowhere. Get the rad cap off. Look at that. Nifty. Well, we're on our way to getting this thing done. That makes me feel a lot better. Well, there we go. There's the fan setup and shroud and all that kind of stuff. I'm using the rad. This rad is for square body Chevys, is what this rad's listed for. That's what I ordered. So it's going to work great. The outlet's going to work great. Up and over, I can get a nice hose to go up and in there. The outlet will be fine coming out, going over. I'm happy with all that. The only thing I'm a little concerned about is I might want to make some sort of a block on the side here to go and force the air through the rad a little bit more. So I might want to bend up some sheet metal pieces that just come over and hug the side of this rad a little bit better. Like I said, it just helped the wind to go through it a bit more maybe. But anyways, there's the mounts all done. I'm happy with that. So like I said, next up we're getting closer to getting this thing running here very soon. I won't be able to drive it because there is snow on the ground. It is wintertime. But we're getting a lot closer to having this thing running and sort of moving around. So next step is going to be the steering and brake booster. That'll be coming up in the next video. I'm going to do both of those at the same time because the steering's not going to take me very long. It's going to be pretty simple. And then the brake booster, that's going to take a little bit of finesse and farting around, but we'll get it done. It should be pretty easy. So, hey, thanks for tagging along on this, and thanks for all the folks that subscribe. And if you haven't, please hit that subscribe button. Costs nothing and it helps me out. And just you folks being around helps me out, keeps me motivated on working on this stuff. I really appreciate it. So, hey, failure's not an option. We just got to keep going on our projects, and that makes me feel good that I got one more thing done.